Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode in the series Conversations with Shelly. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm talking about something that every single one of us at some point in time experienced, ignored, or learned the hard way. What am I talking about this week, guys? I'm talking about relationship red flags, right? So listen, this topic became something that I wanted to talk about because so many of us sometimes um we are in relationships or we see our friends in relationships and we see the signs, we see the red flag that are telling us to stop, danger ahead, and we still proceed, right? So as part of the femininity, masculinity conversations topic area or just relationship, topic in general, I thought, it's time for me to do a relationship red flag. What are some of the things that we could potentially look out for so as to save ourselves a whole lot of trouble? And I know for most of us that some of these red flags don't even appear to be red flag at first. They may appear to be burgundy. They may appear to be pink, maroon, you know. They may appear to be dim in color, especially if we want to, do this the squint something or we squint. And maybe for some of us it's not bad. We don't mind the burgundy or the pink or the maroon or even squinting. But for others of us, regardless of the color, once it falls within the spectrum of potential red looking stuff, we gonna have a problem. So today, as I said, we're turning up the brightness on all the shades in the spectrum, and we're going to be talking about these red flag alerts. So let's get into it. So the first one I wanted to mention is something that, again, if you squint, you miss. Yeah. And this is the idea and concept of the bare minimum champion. No, I know this may seem a little bit like what you're talking about. What you're talking about, bare minimum champion. So here I'm going to explain what it is. And the explanation is going to stem on me giving somewhat of an example. But have you ever come across somebody, you meet somebody, and they do the absolute least and they expect the absolute most? Like they will call you one time, they'll send you like a heart emoji, and suddenly they think they deserve the Nobel Prize. And I'm laughing, guys, because as I said, at some point in time, we have experienced or ignored or we have learned the hard way that somebody who does the bare minimum should not come into our space and expect greatness, right? For a lot of us that are no longer looking through the different dimness of the shades of red, a relationship is not a customer service. So doing the bare minimum doesn't earn you 5 star, doesn't earn you any trophy or any award. So if somebody turns up in your space and they are doing the bare minimum, red flag. Now, red flag number two is inconsistent communication, meaning they're here today, they're gone tomorrow. One week you're getting good morning, beautiful texts, and then the next week they disappear, and it's like your free trial has expired and you don't know where to find them, and you don't know what they are about. Now, listen to me. Consistency is a love language. No, I know the five love language. I've heard it spewed from varying persons over my lifetime. And one of them that I think must be added to become the sixth is consistency. Now, when you start to be inconsistent, red flag, especially when it comes to communication, right? So if you have to guess how they feel every day, you're walking on a ticking time bomb, right? And because they are not communicating consistently, right? Love bombing. They love bomb you and then they vanish, they're gone. Now, this one is a sneaky one because This red flag, the person usually comes in hot and heavy, and they come with all the nice things. Oh, baby, you're perfect. Baby, you're nice. You're my future wife. Everything and everything belongs to you. And da 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 da. And they give you all the sweetness. And then suddenly, poof, they cool off. They pull back. And now you're left completely confused. Now, if somebody comes into your space and there's a real connection, and it's a real connection that is steady and consistent, there's no need for love bombing. It will become a natural roller coaster. You'll slowly go up, and when you reach that peak, you'll feel it in the pit of your stomach, and the feeling of it will just blow you over when you start to land. But the love bombing, when it's 1 minute on, 1 minute off, is red flag number three. Red flag number four, they're super secretive. Now, anybody will come in your space and privacy top everything else is red flag number four. Now, I want you to understand privacy is fine, secrecy isn't. So, for example, if your phone is in the corner, it's turned down, and you can't answer it, or you can't access it, or you can't even see what is happening. And then when you take it up, your face, I get pictures of your face is being taken because they want to know who touched them phone, and then put on all kind of apps and all kind of things to make sure say anybody that touched them phone, it certainly disappear. You know that Mission Impossible thing when Tom Cruise get the mission and it says this thing will self-destruct in 5 4 3 2 1. You ever pick up some people phone and the app of them have panic? I swear to God, if you did hold in your hand, no longer the phone would have vanish. These are the type of persons who I'm talking about. These are the type of persons that red flag, red flag. So the people then when them pick up your phone and you pick up something and all of a sudden all kind of things are going with the phone, too secretive. Privacy, okay. Secretive, not. Right? Now, red flag number five. They avoid the what are we conversation. Now, anybody that when you ask them, what are we? And every time you're asking, what are we going as? Yeah? They give you a response in somewhat of either a joke, they shrug the shoulders, or they give you the all too often heard, let's not put a label on this relationship. What they are saying is really, I like you, but just not enough to commit. Red flag number five. Yeah? So, in my estimation of red flags, don't be confused. Relationships, if they are serious, must have a status. Must have a status. Red flag number six, they never take accountability. No, this one is right here with being very dangerous. Because if something is going to be a red flag, it's going to be a red flag because every time the person talks, it's always your fault. They can never apologize and they twist things around to make themselves seems to be the victim. If this comes up in your relationship, guys, let me tell you, think about it. You're probably not in a relationship. You're in a blame game with no prize. You're playing a blame game, and at the end of playing that game, you have no prize to win. Back up off of that, okay? Now, red flag number seven, hot and cold behavior. Now, this is kind of one of those that are very up there in terms of, you know, not being communicative or inconsistent communication. So the idea behind this red flag is that one day you're their soulmate, the next day you're the background character playing in the back, and there's really no connection, and they flip like switches. And this is the hot cold behavior that makes you know that something is not right, and you need to pack your bags and go, Jack. Right? Red flag number eight: little criticisms that eventually add up and build. So it is important for you to pay attention to this red flag because sometimes it comes in the form of jokes, backhanded compliments, and the casual little shade. But if you're feeling smaller around the person instead of being uplifted, then let me tell you something, it's not love, it's sign, red flag. Red flag. There's some amount of insecurity disguised in the humor, into the little backhanded compliments, and into all of that. Be careful, guys. Disrespecting your boundaries. Now, if you say that I am not comfortable with this, or I'm not comfortable with that, and it is not respected, then that's a red flag that deserves the biggest of billboard, because that is you verbalizing definitively without any uncertainty what it is that you're about. And if that person hears you and still feel the need to dismiss what you have said or have made you uncomfortable in what you have asked, then that is one of the biggest red flag you can think about. That one is one, as I said, billboard right across the sky. And simply because, in my mind, a healthy relationship with healthy people in it respects boundaries and respects limits. Red flag number 10, jealousy dressed up as care. Now, for many of us, we will see this and we will not be able to identify it readily. But please do not confuse them telling you that they are not controlling. I just don't want you to be around certain people. Or don't confuse, oh, I'm not insecure. I just think you should only talk to me. Nana. Control isn't love, and isolation isn't protection. So, this jealousy thing, do not mistake it for them loving on you. This is jealousy wrapped up in care, and this can be very, very dangerous, right? Now, red flag number 11. Whenever things are always happening on their terms, you know that's a red flag. So, you're planning something, it's on their terms. The timing of something is on their terms. The effort that you put in something is on their term. It's always on their schedule. Now, you want to do something and they are strict on a schedule. Oh, you have between so and so to do this, or I can only do this on a Friday and a Monday. Those things are red flags. Those things are red flags. Relationships have two people in it, and not one person becomes the captain or the cheerleader. Right? Red flag number 12. You feel drained instead of supported. No, I'm not going to tell you that this one is not important and it should have been up there in my top five, right? But if at the end of the day, this red flag comes up in your feeling like there's nothing I do that I feel supported here, and that's a red flag. How do you feel around the person? Do you feel supported or do you feel drained? If you're always anxious or confused or exhausted or trying to just earn basic affection, basic time, then you need to step back. Because at the end of the day, relationships should bring you peace and not be something that you're playing an emotional gymnastics with. Yeah. So these are my 12 red flags when it comes to identifying whether or not in a relationship you need to step back, because there's some serious things happening here. There may be others, I'm sure, but these are the ones that I have identified within, relationships in general and relationships in specific. And these are just things that I wanted to raise and bring to your attention. So, my extraordinaires, that's my today breakdown of red flags that you should not ignore. And if you see any of these anywhere, you know, be mindful. As always, drop me a comment. This is a no judgment zone. Share your experience, subscribe, share, like, turn on your notification bells for more real talk. And remember, a red flag ignored becomes a life lesson learned later. So choose your red flags wisely. Until I see you next time, my beautiful extraordinaires, take care.